Hello everyone, I am Devesh Singh Tomar, working as an assistant professor in Department of Civil Engineering at Oriental College of Technology, Bhopal. Today I am going to discuss about composition of soils. So composition of soil, as we know that soil is a complex physical system. A mass of soil include accumulated solid particles or grain and the void spaces that exist between the particles. The void spaces may be partially or completely filled with water or some liquid. Void spaces are not occupied by water or any other liquid, are filled with air or some other gases. So for the representation of the soil, we use phase diagram for better understanding of the composition of soil. We differentiate the solid part, liquid part, and the gaseous part, that is air, into three different layers. So phase, what is phase? The phase means only homogeneous part of the system, different from other part of the system, separated from them by abrupt transition. Okay. Since the volume occupied by a soil mass may generally be expected to include material in all three state of matter, solid, liquid and gas. Soil in general referred to as three-phase diagram. Soil has three-phase diagram as it has solid part as soil particles and liquid as water or liquid is water and the gas is air present in the soil. So it is generally represented by three-phase system. A soil mass as it exists in nature is more or less random accumulation of soil particles, water and air filled spaces as shown in the figure. For purpose of analysis, it is convenient to represent this soil mass by a block diagram called phase diagram. So this is phase diagram. In the natural state or in actual soil mass, it will be in some random accumulation of soil particles, and this random accumulation of soil grains result into developing the voids between them. These voids are either filled with water or air. They are partially filled with water, partially filled with air, or we can say that either completely filled with air or completely filled with water. If they are partially filled with air and partially filled with water, then in that case it is known as three-phase diagram. So how we represent the soil phase diagram? What we do, we divide the three states into transition. First we show the solid particles, then after that we show water, and after that air at the top layer. Okay. So the soil generally represented in two phase diagrams. One is three-phase diagram, second is two-phase diagram. If all the three particles are present, then it is represented by three-phase diagram. If only two states are present, then it is represented by two-phase diagram. As we are dealing with the soil, then soil grain or solid particle will be always present, and we are as far as concerned with the voids, these are occupied by either water or air or both. If they are occupied by both, then it is three-phase diagram, and occupied by either of them, then it is known as two-phase diagram. So when the soil voids are completely filled with water, the gaseous phase being absent, it is said to be fully saturated or merely saturated. When there is no water at all in the voids will be full of air, the liquid phase being absent. The soil is said to be dry. If the water is present, only water is present in the soil, then it is known as saturated soil. And if there is only air in the voids, then it is known as dry soil. And these two systems of the soil are represented to two-phase diagram. In both the cases, the soil system reduces to two-phase, one as shown in the figure 2.2 A and B. Okay, these are merely special cases of three-phase diagram. These are basically the special case of three-phase diagram. If either of them is present, then it is reduced to two-phase diagram. So let's move on the basic terminology of phase diagram. So how do we represent phase diagram? So on the left side of the phase diagram, we denote the volume of the different segments or different material, we can say that. First of all, the total volume is represented by V, and then the volume of solids, that is represented by Vs, and after that the volume of water, that is represented by Vw, and last at the top, that is volume of air, that is represented by Va. And volume of air plus volume of water both makes the volume of voids, that is represented by volume of voids, that is Vv. Okay, on the right hand side of the phase diagram, we denote the weight component of the phase diagram. So W is the total weight of the soil mass. That includes weight of solids, and weight of water, and weight of air. Generally the weight of air is negligible, that's why we neglect it. So weight of soil mass consists of weight of solids plus weight of water. Weight of solids is represented by Ws, and weight of water is represented by Ww, and weight of air is Wa, that is negligible, and weight of water is basically the weight of voids, as we neglect the weight of air. So these are the representation of phase diagram. After that, we move into let's see what is there. The general three-phase diagram of the soil will help in understanding the terminology and also in the development of more useful relationship between the various quantities. Conventionally, the volume of phases are represented on the left side of the phase diagram, while the weights are represented on the right side, as shown in the figure 2.3, as I already told. So now we move on to the various relationships that are developed on the basis of phase diagram. So first term is the porosity. The porosity of the soil is the ratio of the volume of voids to the total volume of the soil. It is denoted by the symbol N and is commonly expressed as a percentage. So volume of void is equals to porosity is equals to volume of voids upon total volume. Okay. Here volume of voids is equals to volume of air plus volume of water, and total volume is equals to volume of air plus volume of water plus volume of solids. So after that, second term is the void ratio. It is most important term in geotechnical engineering. So void ratio of a soil mass is defined as the ratio of the volume of voids to the volume of solids in the soil mass. It is denoted by the letter symbol E and generally expressed as a decimal fraction. So void ratio is equals to volume of voids upon volume of solids. So in geotechnical engineering, the void ratio is more useful term rather than the porosity, because it gives the basic idea about the how much voids are present in the solid mass. Porosity gives the volume of voids with reference to the total volume. ठीक है, that is more important in irrigation and water resource engineering. But as far as geotechnical engineering consideration, we are more interested in the soil mass rather than the total mass. So that is void ratio is more significant term as far as from the point of view of geotechnical engineering. Void ratio is used more than porosity in soil mechanics to characterize the natural state of soil. This is for the reason that in void ratio denominator Vs, volume solid, is supposed to be relatively constant under the application of pressure, while the numerator volume of voids alone changes. However, in the case of porosity, both numerator and denominator changes upon the application of pressure. Okay. So in void ratio, the volume of solid is going to remain constant. So as we apply pressure, so only volume of voids will change. So if one term become constant, then we can easily predict the changes happen in the soil after the application of soil. It is easy to predict the behavior of the soil as compared to in case of porosity. So void ratio is more used than the porosity. Next time is degree of saturation. Degree of saturation represent how much the soil is saturated. That is how much water is present in the soil. The degree of saturation of the soil mass is defined as the ratio of the volume of water in the voids to the volume of voids. So how much water is present in the void, that defines the degree of saturation. It is designated by the letter S and is commonly expressed as a percentage. So S is equals to VW upon VB into 100. So for a fully saturated soil mass, the all voids are filled with water, as I told earlier. For fully saturated, only water present in the voids, so volume of voids become volume of water. Therefore, for a saturated soil mass, S is equals to 100%. For a dry soil, weight of water becomes 0, as there is only air present in the voids. So for perfectly dry sample, S is become 0. In both these conditions, the soil is considered to be two-phase diagram. Two-phase diagram, we can say that two-phase system. Next time is percentage air void. Percentage air void of a soil mass is defined as the ratio of the volume of air voids to the total volume of the soil mass. It is denoted by the letter symbol Na and is commonly expressed as percentage. So percentage air void Na is equals to Va upon V into 100. It denotes the how much air present in the soil mass with respect to total volume. Now next term is air content. As we talk about the air content, so it deals with the how much air present in the voids. So that is, it is the ratio of the volume of air voids to the total volume of the voids. It is designated by the letter symbol AC and commonly expressed as a percentage. So AC is equals to Va upon Vb into 100. Next term is water content. or we can say the moisture content. The water content show us the basically give us the idea about the how much dry or wet is our soil. So water content or moisture content of a soil is defined as the ratio of the weight of water to the weight of solid, or or we can say the dry weight of the soil mass. It is denoted by the symbol small w and commonly expressed as a percentage. So water content is equals to weight of water upon weight of solid, or dry weight into 100. Weight of water we can also represent that in W minus total weight of dry weight of soil. So W minus WD upon W into 100. That is our water content. Next is bulk or mass unit weight. The mass unit weight or bulk unit weight of a soil mass is defined as the weight per unit volume of the soil mass. It is denoted by the letter symbol gamma. So basically this unit weight is equals to total weight of the soil upon total volume of the soil. Total volume consists of volume of water plus volume of solid, and volume of air, and total weight of soil mass consists of weight of water plus weight of solids. Next is the unit weight of solids. Bulk means bulk unit weight represent the whole unit weight of the soil with respect to total volume and total weight. While if we discuss about the unit weight of solids, it deals with the weight of solids and volume of solids alone. So it is the ratio of weight of solids to the weight of solids to the volume of solids. Okay. It is also sometimes called the absolute unit weight of a soil. It is denoted by letter gamma s. So gamma s is equals to Ws upon Vs. It basically tells about the unit weight of the soil solids present in our soil. And bulk unit weight give us the whole idea of whole unit weight of the soil mass, that is material. It includes water, air and solids, and the unit weight of solids only represent the unit weight of solid part. Next is unit weight of water. Unit weight of water is the weight per unit volume of water. It is denoted by letter gamma W. So gamma W is equals to weight of water upon volume of water. It should be noted that the unit weight of water varies in small range with the temperature. It has a convenient value at 4 degrees Celsius, which is the standard temperature for this purpose. Gamma naught is the symbol used to denote the unit weight of soil at 4 degrees Celsius. The value of gamma naught is 1 gram per centimeter cube or 1000 kg per meter cube or 9.81 kilonewton per meter cube. So gamma naught is at 4 degrees Celsius. Next is saturated unit weight. Saturated unit weight is defined as the bulk unit weight of soil mass in the saturated condition. It is denoted by letter symbol gamma cent. If our soil is fully saturated and there is no air present in the water in the soil, then the unit weight of soil becomes saturated unit weight. That is, the bulk unit weight becomes saturated unit weight. And the next is submerged unit weight, buoyant unit weight, we can say that. So the submerged unit weight or buoyant unit weight of a soil is its unit weight in the submerged condition. In other words, it is the submerged weight of the soil solids, that is Ws submerged per unit volume V of the soil. It is denoted by the letter gamma dash. So Ws submerged is equal to the weight of the solid in air minus the weight of water displaced by the soil. This lead to gamma dash is equals to Ws submerged upon total volume. So, so there is a relation between gamma submerged and gamma saturated and gamma W. You will see that. So gamma submerged, Ws submerged is equals to, I told you earlier, it is equal to the weight of solids in air minus the weight of water displaced by the solids. So weight of solids, that is Ws, minus weight of water displaced by the solid, that is equals to volume of solids into gamma W, according to Archimedes principle. Since the soil is submerged, the void must be full of water. The total volume V then must be equal to Vs plus Vw. So Ws submerged can be written as W minus Ww minus Vs gamma W. Now W minus Vw into gamma W minus Vs gamma W. Next step is W minus, we take out gamma W common. Now in bracket we have Vw plus Vs. Vw plus Vs is equals to total volume, that is V minus W minus V gamma W. Dividing throughout V, we divide the whole equation by total volume, then it becomes W submerged upon B is equals to W upon B minus gamma W. That is W is submerged upon B is our submerged unit weight, that is gamma dash, and W upon B in our submerged condition will be saturated, that becomes saturated unit weight and minus gamma dash. So submerged unit weight is equals to saturated unit weight minus unit weight of water. It may be noted that submerged soil is invariably saturated, while a saturated soil need not to be submerged. Okay, the vice versa is not true. If a soil is submerged, then it will be saturated, and if a soil is submerged, that we cannot say it is. If a soil is saturated, then it need not to be submerged. If a soil is submerged, then it is surely be a saturated soil. Okay, let's move on to next term, that is our dry unit weight. So dry unit weight is defined as the weight of solids per unit of the volume. The former is obtained by the drying of soil, while the latter would be got prior to drying. The dry unit weight is denoted by letter symbol gamma D and is given by gamma D is equals to weight of solids upon total volume. Since the total volume is variable with respect to packing of the grains as well as with the water content, gamma D is a relatively variable quantity, unlike gamma S. The gamma S in gamma S are both numerator and denominator are constant, that is volume of solids and weight of solids. In that, the dry unit weight, the denominator is not constant, it may increase or decrease. So our dry unit weight is a variable quantity, it is not constant like gamma S. So we define it separately. Okay. Next is mass specific gravity. So mass specific gravity of a soil may be defined as the ratio of the mass or bulk unit weight of soil to the unit weight of water at a standard temperature. Okay, that is standard temperature is 4 degrees Celsius. So Gm is equals to gamma upon gamma naught. Gamma naught क्या है? What is gamma naught? Gamma naught is unit weight of water at 4 degrees Celsius, and this is denoted by the symbol Gm and is given by gamma upon gamma naught, or we can say that gamma upon gamma W. Next is specific gravity of soil. The specific gravity of soil is defined as the ratio of the unit weight of solids, that is gamma s, to the unit weight of water at a standard temperature 4 degrees Celsius. It is denoted by the letter symbol G and given by G is equals to gamma s upon gamma naught or gamma W. It is also known as absolute specific gravity. Absolute, we are saying it absolute specific gravity because it remains constant as our unit weight of solids remain constant, so that's why the specific gravity of solids remains constant in soil mass. In fact, more popularly it is also known as grain specific gravity, that is the specific gravity of grains present in the soil, we can say that. Next time, specific gravity of water. The specific gravity of water is defined as the ratio of the unit weight of the water to the unit weight of water at a standard temperature 4 degrees Celsius. It is denoted by letter symbol GW and given by gamma W upon gamma naught. Gamma W is at any temperature, that is at the time of measuring, and gamma naught is at a standard temperature 4 degrees Celsius. So that is a specific gravity of water, which is generally taken as 1 because the variation is very low. These are the conversion of volume of soil into, if we know the volume of soil and the specific gravities, unit weight of the soil, then we can find out the weight of the soil, weight of water present in the soil. So if we know the, just like we know the volume of solids and we know the unit weight of solids, so we can find out weight of solids by just multiplying the volume of solids by unit weight of solids. Okay, so Vs become the Ws become Vs into gamma s, Vs into gamma s, and that is, we can also written as Vs into G gamma W, because G is equals to gamma s upon gamma W. So we represent gamma s is equals to G into gamma W. Okay. Similarly, we find out the weight of water, as we know the volume of water and we know the unit weight of water. We get the volume of weight of water by just multiplying volume of water to the unit weight of water. Okay. These are basic terminology and composition of the soil. From and in next lecture we will discuss about the relationship between these terminologies. Like what are the relationship between water content, void ratio, degree of saturation. What is the relation between porosity and void ratio? What is the relation between bulk density, water content? And we will find out the various formulas to find out the basic terminology. Basically, we see the in next lecture we see the relationship between these terms we studied today. Okay. Thank you.